Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for such an exciting conversation. My name is Clifton Keenan, and I am a member of the faculty at the Rory Myers College of Nursing at New York University. I'm a native North Carolinian. Rural health is my background, and maternal child health is my specialty. Today, it's the honor of a lifetime to sit with two professional giants who have given their life in every imaginable way to the science and the profession of nursing. They have worked endlessly to advance inclusion, access, diversity, and all the intersections between. And today, this conversation sits at the intersection of opportunity, the unknown future, lessons from the past, and collective responsibility for where nursing goes and how we all work together to ensure society benefits from the tremendous impact of the profession. To my right, I have Dr. Beverly Malone, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the National League of Nursing. That is her current role. There's not enough time in this interview to talk about her previous roles and impacts, but I'm sure during our interview today, she will draw on her many varied experiences, both domestically and internationally. To my left, we have Dr. Ernest Grant, who is the former president of the American Nurses Association and member of the faculty and associate dean at Duke University School of Nursing. All three of us have ties to the great state of North Carolina.
Yep.
And these three North Carolina people today are going to talk about some issues and opportunities for the profession as it relates to the topic at hand. How do we ensure that nursing continues and advances in accessibility, diversity? So, I have some questions, but you all feel free to add to things that may not be asked of you. And the first question we're going to give to you, Dr. Malone, and that question is, nursing is regarded as the most trusted profession in our society. Yet the workforce and those that make up the profession of nursing often do not reflect the society at whole. Where are we currently in our journey towards equity in nursing?
Well, from my perspective, there's this mission that holds us all together as nurses, right? So no matter what your background is, if you're a nurse, there has to be some level of commitment to caring for the people that we serve. And that is the thing that holds all of nursing together. And you mentioned my international background, and I have found that to be true all around the world. That there's no way really to be calling yourself a nurse unless you understand that the care that you're providing is there to make a difference in the lives of other people. And at the same time, you have to take care of yourself. That's the other piece that I don't think we always get exactly right. I think sometimes we're much better at caring for others than we are at caring for ourselves. So in these days and times, the question is, how do we keep the nursing profession attractive and a magnet for other people to join? I think nurses are going to have to take better care of ourselves. That we're going to have to be the examples and the role models that say, this is a good place to work. No, this is not a good. This is a great place to work. This is a great profession to be in. It is such an honor to be a nurse. We can't just speak the words, we got to walk the talk. And I'm encouraging all of my colleagues who are nurses that the face that we show our colleagues, the ones that are coming along, is the one that they really believe. Our words may be saying one thing, but our behavior may be saying something else. So make sure there's an alignment with what we're saying about how great this profession is. And we are behaving in the same way to show how we view it and how it views us in terms of even issues like nursing loans for advanced practice nurses. Those are issues that we all care about. But why do we care about it? Because of the people we serve. It's not just about, I want my progression or I want my opportunity. It's also about the level of care that we're going to give to people.
Absolutely. take care of ourselves so we can attract people and take care of them. All right, that's for every generation. This is our call right now.
Absolutely.
But Dr. Grant, I know you have something to add.
Oh, yeah. I think in addition to what Dr. Malone has said, and I wholeheartedly agree with that, I think for the young people out there, they need to see someone who looks like them in the nursing profession. And I remember growing up as a little kid, I mean, I had no idea that I was going to be a nurse, but the only black nurse that I saw on TV was Diane Carroll, and I forget the name of the TV show that she was on.
Too.
But that was it. When you look at the TV shows now, you don't see either black nurses or nurses of color. Actually, you see very few even that may be playing the role of physicians. So for that young boy or girl who's sitting there watching that, if they don't see that, hey, that's a possible dream for me, right. They may be, reticent to, or hesitant, if you will, to, don't consider nursing as a profession. I think nursing in our community as well. Now, what influenced me a lot was nurses who were in my church. And I saw these ladies doing, going out into the community, and my mother would go with them. My mother wasn't a nurse, but she's part of the Women's Missionary Society, so they went to the older folks' homes and, would clean their homes, vacuum, and et cetera, and the nurses would check their medications, check their blood pressures and things. So it made an impression on me at that particular point in time as well. So again, I think we as nurses role modeling what it is that we do, being able to have that time, take the time to sit with that young boy or girl and say, this is a possibility, and this is what caring for your fellow man is all about. Is because as nurses we do it all, and what better way to model that and to spark that idea in that young boy or girl's mind that hey, I want to be just like Dr. Malone. I want to be just like Dr. Grant, or I want to be like some other nurse that they may know, somebody that they admire. But you're modeling who we are and what we do.
Yeah, and what a privilege it is for us to even be considered a model, a role model. I grew up, Ernie, you remind me of how I grew up. My great-grandmother raised me, and she was the community nurse. Third grade education, ran a bootlegging operation, but she would take care of people when they came, and she was the one who would go into the woods and say, Beverly, she never said my name correctly, and go get that and pick that, and she'd put things together, slap it on a baby's head, and hair would grow. So she was considered the community healer, and she always wanted me to be not just a nurse, a prepared, educated, college-educated nurse. And having someone somewhere around you who believes in you will also help you make that choice.
Yes.
And I know, Ernie, probably that's what happened in your life, too, with all those wonderful church people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old term, it takes a village. That's what I had.
Yeah, same here.
I can go home today, and what few friends of my parents that are still alive, they would, they're so proud, they pat themselves on the back and say, I had a hand in raising that boy.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Also, that's my story too.
Yep.
I think we just talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
I have wanted to be a nurse since I was in the third grade. It's my only professional dream. But the reality of that dream was because someone believed with me, right? Dreams need co-signers. So in thinking about how we are ambassadors for the profession, we need to show people how great the profession is. We need to tell people the reality of becoming a nurse. It's not just seeing people that look like us. I needed to see people who were from rural communities like me. People need to see people from territories or from islands or so forth that have their lived experience. So once we tell all these people about how great nursing is and how great of a career opportunity it is, not just young people, people looking for second careers and so forth. But then we got to get people into nursing school, and then we need to get them out of nursing school. So we're coming back to you, Dr. Malone. You have been, my whole life, I have been honoring you. admired you since I was a little boy, back when you were at A&T.
My goodness.
So, in thinking about progress and evolution of getting people into nursing school and getting them out, it's just one generation ago, really, that we even had integration in some of the southern schools, right? So, how have we progressed with giving people a dream, but then making sure that dream became a reality through this very complicated nursing education system?
Well, you mentioned that I'm part of North Carolina that I'm very proud of, and I was Dean of Nursing at North Carolina A&T State University for 10 years. And one of the things that we did was to go into the high schools. We invaded the high schools. And I think that we're going to have to do some of that kind of recruiting, nurturing, mentoring, developing before they get to college. If you don't have the right courses, those science courses and some other things, it's very hard to make that transition. Not that you can't, but it takes more extra time. So why don't we take our wonderful mechanisms of recruitment and go into the schools? And what we did was to work with the counselors, because they were the traffic cops. They tell the students, go this way and you go that way. And students listen because they're kind of confused. They're high school, which way should I be going? And having those counselors learn more about nursing, about the possibilities and the opportunities, was so important. And the way we got their attention, because they're adults, right? We fed them. You can get people's attention when you feed them. And so we would feed them, right? We would give them breakfast. And then we would talk to them about nursing. And it's not that old image you have in your head about nursing. These are all the wonderful things that nurses are doing and that we can do. And there's no limit on it. And there's no territorial geographic limit. You can go anywhere in the world with your nursing degree. They need nurses everywhere. It is the most exciting, wonderful opportunity you can imagine. And there is nothing like what you receive from working with patients. What they give back to you is so reaffirming. Nurses, as a nurse, I've never awakened in the morning and said, why am I here? I know why I'm here. I'm here to provide care. I'm here to make a difference in the world. I'm a nurse. That's what I do.
I would agree to what Bev has said. And also, when I'm speaking with students, either in high school or elementary school, and I tell them the same thing, that the world is your pearl.
That's right.
If you become a nurse, because you don't necessarily have to be at the bedside. You could do pharmaceutical sales, you could do research, you get the opportunity to travel. I know nurses who work with NASA, just to think about that. And so as long as you don't mess up.
Or if you mess up, you keep going, right?
Keep going, but you've got the opportunity of a lifetime to really make a difference in so many different ways. And if you are tired of being a med-surg nurse, then maybe you want to go and become a oncology nurse, or maybe you want to go and become a respiratory or a psych nurse, or an LD nurse, or doing community health or rural health. I mean, it's all there.
Or run a hospital or nursing communities. So there are all kinds of opportunities.
There's all kinds of possibilities and opportunities. And I would also say, one of the things that when I was president of ANA, one of the goals that I had was to start a program like what you were talking about, Bev, and with the Boys and Girls Club of America. And we were in talks with them to have them invite nurses in to talk about nursing as a career. Because we take the exact same STEM courses as someone who's going to be a doctor or a rocket scientist or a dentist or whatever else. And so to let them know that this is what nursing is about, it would open up those particular possibilities. And another thing that I did or still do, another organization that I belong to, we go into an elementary school in the 3rd grade. And we serve as tutors, students who are having problems with math, students who are having problems with reading. We help them with that, so that when that person begins to think about a career, they can say, oh, it was a nurse who helped me to understand math. It was a nurse who helped me to read and to comprehend, and et cetera. You make that impression early so that they do begin to think about nursing as a profession when they begin to think about what kind of careers they would like to do.
And then there's another population that's not the young, and it's not necessarily the young, in high schools and grade schools. I love what Ernie is saying about that. But I believe that there are also folks who've already committed to healthcare, like nurses who work in the community. They're not even nurses, they're called CNAs, they're health home aides, and there are licensed practical nurses who have not reached that in terms of the registered nurse, but they're already in the system. And so in addition to new people coming into nursing, there's this wonderful community of folks who are already committed to nursing, but don't know where the door is to get up the pathway. And there's not, even if you show them the door, there's not enough support to keep the door open. I've done programs where I've worked with licensed practical nurses or licensed vocational nurses where it's been something like, I had a flat tire, I just got to drop out. I mean, like that. Like, what would it cost to fix a flat tire? Having that resource, saying it's not the end of the world, we can help with that. We can do something about making it puts everything back together. So we've got to build in systems of progression for those who are in nursing or in some health-related field, so that they can see that they can progress in nursing too. All of that is about not just maintaining, diversifying. And the nursing workforce, and doing what Ernie has said, that it's so wonderful to see someone who looks like you, or even may look like you a little bit, not just exactly, but it is comforting to know that I'm trying to get into a profession where others will value me.
You know, when I was in high school, I met my first Black nurses. I went to the high school program at UNCW, and I met Dr. Virginia Adams and Dr. Betty Glenn. And I said, wait a minute. These are two Black women who are running nursing down here. Never mind that they were the only Black folks at the whole thing. Right? But for me, as someone who was from a rural county, and that was our nearest university, that was like just the sky opened and said, this is more real, right? So in thinking about representation, we know there's a variety of pathways into nursing, whether it's practical nursing, whether it's the associate or the diploma programs and so forth. How important is maintaining all of those different pathways in relation to advancing diversity?
I'll start, but for me, I think it's incredibly important. I think that we should use every door available to bring wonderful people into nursing, and to give them the opportunity to see how they can make a difference in the lives of other people, but then also raise themselves up. Because when you educate a nurse, you are really contributing to the entire family. It can move their socioeconomic level to a different place. I'm talking about money and groceries and all the things that go with raising families can change for them. It can be escalated a little bit. And I want to make sure that not only are you giving in nursing, but you're also receiving.
Absolutely, and you're creating generational wealth. You should always have every opportunity available to you. So that even if it's someone who started out as a nursing assistant, they may work at that for 2 or 3 years or so. And maybe there's other life issues that are going on, but once those issues are resolved, letting them know that, hey, this hospital has a scholarship for you, or there is a scholarship available for you at the local community college, or even at the university level. It's like what Bev said before. If a flat tire is going to prevent you from becoming a nurse, we need to take steps to alleviate that.
That's right.
And the main thing is letting people know that the resources are there, because sometimes they're not even made aware of that. So we need to make certain that that is something.
Ernie, I just want to emphasize that the resources may already be available. There may be that money devoted to those simple little issues that come with just living day to day. But if you don't know it, it doesn't exist for you. So a system way of acknowledging, knowing, informing is so important to the folks who are trying to come through our nursing programs.
And especially if you're in rural America.
Oh, yes.
Where, communication, there's, even though we have all the technology in the world, but still communication may not necessarily always get there. Or they may think that, I thought that was for this group of people or that group of people. I didn't think that was for me.
Exactly.
So until we can, utilize not only, getting the message to that individual, but also people in the community as well. Because if your pastor knows it, or if a community leader is aware of that, they too can say, you can help them to say, do you know somebody in the community that maybe will qualify for this scholarship, or who we could help with a scholarship to do this? Yeah. That's paving the way, and as we said, it's creating generational wealth that not only will lift that family up, but it also lifts up the community too.
That's
because as we just pointed out, if you're the nurse, people are going to start coming to you and saying, hey, I got this, and this wrong. What do you think it is? Or what's going on here? Because they may not have access to a physician, or even if they do, they may not have the funds for it. But knowing that you've got that trust of that individual and that community, and they're going to come to you with their problems, and they're going to take what you say to heart, and they're going to do what you say because you're a nurse. That's life-changing.
Absolutely. I love all of that. I think, it also stimulates community philanthropy and engagement. When people see that resources have benefited, they are more willing to give, and this is important. Communities also have shared responsibility in creating nurses for their community.
Absolutely.
We're going to run out of time, but I have so many more things we're going to talk about, and we've got our whole lives ahead of us to keep talking about them. But I'm going to
part 2.
We're going to, and 3, 4, and 5, right? So in thinking about our conversation today, this meeting, and everything that's going on in society, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to answer I'll ask you to complete this sentence with some idealism, right? So here we go. The future of nursing will be equitable when?
The future of nursing will be equitable when we stand up and say, as nurses, that there's room enough for all of us, and that nursing is a profession that makes the difference for everyone. It's all people. There's no way for us to say that about for all people without having an all people provider group called nurses. It has to be that equity piece between us and the patient. I think people are thinking equity between each other. There's also that piece about between me and that patient, that equity. And I think that is so wonderfully important.
I think my answer to that would be the future of nursing would be equitable when anyone who wants to be a nurse will become a nurse.
Okay. Well, one last question. To every young person considering the profession of nursing, if you could say one thing to them, or one small group of things to them, what would that be? And it would be the only conversation you could have with them. We'll start with you, Dr. Grant.
Okay. For me, it would be, I have never regretted being a nurse. I have always loved the challenge that being a nurse brings. No 2 days are the same. And so if you like a challenge, if you want to help your fellow man, nursing is where it's at.
I would say that nursing brings me joy. And if you're into joy in your life, if you don't have enough, nursing is the profession that there's plenty good room for joy in nursing. There is something about sharing whoever you are, whatever resources you have, and you will be prepared. I mean, nursing is definitely a well-rounded educational opportunity. So you have those abilities in you, and then you mix it with caring, and you mix it with integrity, and you then are allowed to share it with others. And it comes back multifold.
And I would simply say, as I say every day, nursing is the profession that made all of my dreams come true. Dr. Malone and Dr. Grant, thank you so much for all of your service and dedication to the profession. Thank you for illuminating a path that many of us are running through that was not even walkable before. You are to be honored and commended. And because of people like you, the rest of us have motivation to keep going.
Amen.
The profession needs all of us. More importantly, society needs nurses. Thank you indeed. And I wish you all a wonderful year.
Thank you.